Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. Excuse my appearance. I was about to get in the shower, and then all of a sudden an idea came, okay? I have had this idea in my mind for a while, a bunch of these ideas. Now, it'll probably never come to pass because I don't have money. I'd have to be a multi-millionaire. I'd literally have to win the Powerball. But maybe this idea will reach the heart of somebody who does win the Powerball or somebody who does have a lot of money. Because it's about time that millionaires start giving back to this world and doing something with their money, right? So here's my idea. For a long time, I've even tried teaming up with people who actually have factories and who make clothing, but they don't have any interest in this idea. I want to make a Christian clothing line, a Christian conservative clothing line, okay? So that, and it's going to be based on the 1940s through the 50s and 60s, okay? Where women and men used to always dress as if they were wearing their best, even if they were just around the house, okay? Like, do you ever see, like, these old TV shows like Donna Reed and Lassie and, all these black and white TV shows, right? Well, that's how it used to be for the middle to upper class. Even the poor years ago would always dress nice. It was just the style. Okay, when I mean dress nice, I'm talking about you can look like Katharine Hepburn, you can look like Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy, you can look like the royal family, okay? Fabric is not that expensive, okay? It's just the style. So, like, for example, 1920s through the 50s, women would wear nice gloves, long arm gloves, wherever they went, driving gloves, okay? Kept their hands warm. It kept people safe from a lot of germs. It looked classy, and they were always modest. You didn't show your cleavage, okay? It was simple, very Prada-esque. If you're familiar with Prada, it's one of my favorite clothing lines because I love Prada because it's so like sleek and modern, but simple and contemporary. But it's always good looking and classy for the most part. And it's just plain, but it's like 1950s contemporary, Well, anyway, imagine Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy or the way Queen Elizabeth or Kate Middleton dress, right? If women would start dressing like that again, if it was affordable. And why do I want to do this? So that people can start wearing to church, especially on Sunday, and to any engagement, okay? Classy but affordable clothing that is modest. It follows the female form, but not to the point of being sexy, sleazy, skin tight, stretchy, like yoga pants, okay? And everybody always looks good when they're dressed business casual or business appropriate, right? Or classy, like elegant. It's bringing elegance and femininity back to mankind, back to women. And the men also would have their line of clothing. Okay, I had the name in my head. It was called Royal Conservative Women and Royal Conservative Men, or Simply Christian Men, Simply Christian Women, something like that. Or Simply Conservative, so it's not politically incorrect, right? But here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to start having people dress appropriate, classy, but simple. Okay, so again, do the research, okay? Tippi Hedren in the movie The Birds. Watch the movie The Birds or just Google it. Look at how she was dressed. That kind of stuff. Now, it's not for everybody, but when women would actually wear nylons and flats and heels but low, skirts that went down to their ankles or at least below the knee. They were simple, they weren't flashy, they weren't full of patterns. They were just something you could probably make yourself if you were a seamstress. And they looked good, okay? So that came out, in the 40s, 1940s, probably The Birds, somewhere around there, 40s and 50s. So I want to bring clothing back because if you notice, the royal family still dresses like that every day, all the time, wherever they go. Okay, look at Kate Middleton. Look at Harry's wife. What's her name? Meghan, okay? Look at the way they dress. Anybody can dress like that. It's not flashy, but it's always colorful and pretty and simple, and it's elegant. It never shows cleavage. It never It's form fitting. It's feminine. It's beautiful. It's regal, but it's not over the top. Okay. If women started dressing like that again, I mean, you got drag queens doing shows trying to dress like people like that. Okay, they see the appeal to it. Why aren't women dressing like women anymore? So you want to know the answer to that? Why? Because they don't have the option. They don't sell stuff that looks like that anymore. No designers put that out there. So most women have to buy stuff that they can afford and that they want to blend in with everybody else. So if every other woman who they think is pretty is wearing skin-tight gym yoga pants to church with sneakers or whatever, they all follow suit. Oh, this is what's in. And they actually think it looks good on them. Unless you have the perfect body and no cellulite and you're 20 years old, no, it doesn't look good. And you know what? You shouldn't be doing that anyway because it's sinful and it's bringing people to sin just looking at you. And it's just really inappropriate. And when I see people I even see people wearing veils on their head to Catholic Mass, but they're wearing skin-tight yoga pants. You can see everything. What is that? That is disgusting and it's not appropriate. You should not be showing that to anybody but your husband or wife. God don't want to see that. Listen, there's a reason why Jesus dressed like this. Now, I'm not asking people to dress like this, like we're in India. I am, but there's a reason why all heaven wear loose-fitting togas. Because it's not supposed to be sexual. It's supposed to be modest and conservative. And for everybody wears the same thing, just like in religious habits, okay? All priests wear the same thing. All nuns wear the same thing. They look classy. A good nun will look very classy. Some of them have more loose-fitting, draping stuff like this. But the modern nun usually wears a skirt, some flats, okay? Skirt to the knees, flats. It's very classy. It looks good no matter what they do. They can go to a wedding, a funeral, a church. It always looks good for every occasion. And then they wear the veil, right? So what I'm saying is I want a clothing line. I want to bring that back. If I was a girl, I'd be rocking that stuff. I would purposely go and to every Goodwill until I found clothing from those eras. And that's what I would dress. I don't care how freakish I looked. I'd be walking around with white gloves on and sundresses and hats. And I would make it, it would look good. And I know a lot of people, it would catch on. And here's the other thing I want to do. It's not just for women. I want men to start dressing more classier again. Okay, when you go back to the 1800s, you had guys working in mills, right? But they still had a top hat on, even if they were poor. Suspenders, loafers, they had their good pair of clothes and they had their work clothes, right? Or their play clothes, but they always looked, because that was the fashion. We need to bring that back. So I really think that I'm onto something here, but I don't have the money like Donald Trump to do it. And I don't have a factory. But here's the other thing I want to do. The first people I would actually, you know who I would hire to work in those factories? And this is not a sweatshop idea. I would go and get all the homeless off the streets. I would give them free clothing so they can model these clothes. For free. And it's affordable clothing for everybody, first of all. This would be the same price for everybody. It would not be expensive, so everybody can afford to look good and have what they need. These people can get jobs if they're wearing these clothes because they would look good. They'd feel better about themselves, okay? So I would go out there. I would give these clothing to all the poor and homeless people first and let them market it for free. When people start seeing all these people dressing up nice and looking good, they can get jobs. They feel better about themselves. And not only would I give them clothing, I'd give them a job at my factory so they can work and make these clothing. They have employment. So they don't have to pay for clothing. They get it for free on the job. That's one of the perks. They don't have to pay for food. They will be given 3 meals a day working for my company. Okay? So now they're going to work for food. They're going to work because it gives them something to do. And the money they make, they don't have to spend on clothing or food. So they save that so they can get an apartment or a home one day. So that's what I would do. I would offer it to the poor first. Say, hey, you want to come and work for me? 3 meals a day, free clothing, okay? And, then I would even set up a housing community around this facility for people who are homeless. They will have tiny homes. So, because there's no reason why the government can't do this. Like, for example, they're giving $370 billion out for a solar program right now. We don't have $370 billion to be just given out for free, but they are. So if the government of the United States can give out $370 billion to make people switch to solar for free, do you know how many homes they can build, tiny homes or mobile homes, to shelter the homeless with that kind of money? They don't do that. Give people a chance. Because if you don't have a home, a cell phone, a place to shower, you can't get a job. And if you can't get a job, you can never get out of homelessness, poverty, debt. So here's a solution. And if I were to do this with my millions of dollars, hopefully other celebrities and millionaires would want to do the same, right? It would be the solution to poverty and hunger and homelessness. And from a Christian biblical perspective, what would I be doing? Feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, sheltering the homeless. So this job is a ministry in its own. I'm giving money. I'm giving jobs to people who need them. I'm boosting the economy. I'm helping. Why don't other rich people, like I know rich people who have millions and millions of dollars in the bank, and all they do is sit on it and watch it grow and cry when the stocks do bad. Every time they lose, I just lost $5 million in the stocks. Well, if you took it out of the stocks, that $5 million is now gone. Do you know how many mouths you could have fed and people you could have clothed and homes you could have built for homeless people if you just gave that $5 million away to charity? Oh, no, but you'll just invest it and gamble it and keep it for yourself so you can buy another yacht. Or maybe I need another mansion in Fort Myers and maybe one in Hawaii. Maybe so they have multiple mansions and boats and Ferraris and all this. It's all about them. Now do you see why Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven? Because they're not being like Schindler from Schindler's List, spending all their money to save lives and souls. They're just spending it on their own enjoyment, living like kings and queens as if they're gods themselves and as if they're not going to pay the price. If I had money, I'm doing something with it. Yeah, I would definitely live a comfortable life. But I'm also going to help people because otherwise I'm going to go to hell with all my money. And God's going to say, listen, you had a chance to do something great with your life, with your fortune. So many people could have been saved and they're going to be brought to Christ through this ministry. And you're saving lives, you're feeding people, you're doing as I said to do as a Christian. Which is why God said, those who've been given much, much more is expected. So if you're a multimillionaire, God expects you to be a good steward of that, not just enjoy your life, but to help others have a quality life. I mean, if Donna here is poor herself, okay, took me in off the street, everybody told her not to do that, but she saved my life, literally, and probably my soul, and she gave me a chance that I could never have had, that my own family wouldn't give me, and they had plenty of room in all their homes for me, and they have six-figure incomes. They were going to let me die on the street in the middle of winter during a pandemic after I left seminary and had nowhere to go or live, no chance of having a job, a car, getting my life restarted because I took a vow of poverty, right? Well, Donna gave me a place to stay so I can literally get a car and a job and a cell phone because you need an address. If without an actual permanent address to send mail to, you can't get a license renewed, so you can't drive. You can't drive, can't get to work. You can't get a cell phone or a credit card without a permanent address. You need a home, right? So Donna gave me a home so I can have these things and start rebuilding my life with poor health at 42 with no money and no family, no nothing, no hope but Jesus and her, which Jesus used her to help me, okay? So this is what, I'm not naked, Mariana. I just don't have a shirt on because I'm about to get in the shower. And I wanted to make this video before I forgot because I do forget quickly. And I want this permanently so I can go back to it later. So anyway, and John the Baptist walked around with nothing but a skirt on, okay? So don't worry I'm not showing anything. So anyway, like I said, don't miss the forest for the trees and don't be critical. The point is, I wanted to say that, okay? I don't know if I'll ever have that kind of money. Maybe I'm inspiring somebody out there who will see this video who does have money or a business or maybe makes clothing or has a factory already. I know some people, or at least used to be on my Facebook, like Ben Massing, who's got a huge factory making his clothing line down there, but he would probably never make clothing for the poor or, anything that, he would never do this. But if he was smart, this is something that would catch on and make millions. And the Lord would bless it too. I'm guarantee it. The Lord would bless such a venture. So you have a chance at doing something to revolutionize society. But he's not a Christian and he's not a churchgoer, so he doesn't care, and he's definitely not conservative. He's a liberal, so he wouldn't want this. There's a lot of people who would stand against this in this scuzzy society of sleaziness and skin tight and sexuality and all that. But there are still people like me out there who have morals and dignity and self-respect and who love and fear the Lord and who want to have the opportunity or the option to be able to dress appropriately for church or work, right? And look good, but we can't afford it. Unless you're like the royal family, you can't afford such things. But my idea means that if I had the ability, if I had this factory, if I had the money, I can get this going. And it would change society. Like, people would have at least a choice. Now, if you still want to go to church wearing yoga pants, skin tight, and looking like a scumbag, forgive my language, but seriously, that's what you look like. Especially when you're dressed inappropriately at restaurants or church or whatever. But okay, this ain't a gymnasium. If you want the opportunity to look good, then I give you the opportunity. At least you have a choice. And it's affordable for everybody, whether you're poor, middle class, or rich. The prices would be the same for everybody, and they'd always be low. So just an idea that I wanted to put out there for a clothing line for men and women that are Christian conservative, mostly for church and work, and just to help people who don't have clothing and money and all that stuff, okay? And then there was another idea that I had that I just slipped my mind because I got to get going here. I got to get ready for church. But it was another idea. Oh, housing, okay? Quickly, housing. I would also build housing, like I said, around my factories for the employees if they don't have housing, okay? It would be free if you worked for me, and they would all come equipped. This is another idea. I don't know why they don't do this, but if the government's spending $370 billion right now trying to put solar panels for free on homes, right? For green energy and all that and save people money, okay. All homes and mobile homes and tiny homes, anything that's made from here on out should come automatically with a generator, okay, and solar panels so that people don't have to pay high energy bills. And so it automatically doesn't give you an option to say, no, I don't want it. You have to be part of cleaning up this world, okay? So it can be done. Manufacturers can build homes and roofs from now on with solar panels, period. Henceforth, everything comes with a solar panel. Problem solved. Okay? Why aren't they doing this? Because we don't want to put the electric company out of business. Well, guess what? I would start building homes. Affordable homes that could be put up in hours for homeless people. I would have whole communities. Now, obviously, they got to pay rent and stuff. I can't pay for everybody to live for free. But it would give them a chance to have, like, these boxable companies and stuff like that. They're popping up everywhere. I would collaborate with these companies, and I would give them out to the homeless first. Because, again, without a home and without an actual address, you can't get your life started. You can't get a job or a cell phone or a car or a license. And so you can't work, and you never get out of poverty. Now, I know that might be the New World Order's agenda to make everyone own nothing and be subject to breadlines and like it. But for those of us capitalists who are true Americans, believe in true democracy, as conservative Republicans, what we would like people to be able to have a home and a chance to have a job and clothing and stuff. Everybody has a right to these things. Now, I know Christians are the only ones that remember this, but we're supposed to be our brother's keeper. And every human being, regardless of race or poverty level, has a right to basic necessities, healthcare, clothing, shelter, okay, food. So what is going on here? So if I had $445 million from the lottery, these are the things I would be doing with it. I would ask other people, I'd collaborate with other millionaires and billionaires, and I'd say, let's get this done. We can do this if we all do this together. There's no reason for people to be homeless on the street. I don't care if they're illegal aliens or not. Okay, I would start with the people who actually belong to this country first. Then we would start, helping everybody. But the point is, you got to start somewhere. And yeah, I won't be able to buy 50 mansions and luxury yachts and all that stuff with my money and just live for me like a king. But I would be helping so many people with that money, opening up job opportunities for them because I would hire them, giving them clothes, giving them food, giving them shelter. I would be able to be like another Schindler from Schindler's List, helping people with my fortune. And I think it would catch on. And society would catch on because I'm telling you, these styles I'm talking about, these fashions, would come back. They'd make a comeback because they make sense. And because they're affordable. If you make things affordable, everybody can afford it. Everybody would do it. And everybody would jump on the bandwagon with the style. The reason certain styles are all the rage right now is because that's all people are offered. If you don't offer anybody anything but yoga pants and skin-tight stuff and tapered leg, painted-on pants, even for the men are dressing effeminate and everything's skin-tight and skin-tight jeans, skinny jeans. I can't even fit into that garbage. It looks terrible. Okay? But you don't have a choice when you go to the store. You only have so many like when I go to Walmart, I don't have a choice but to get something that's like extra, 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 extra large because of the obesity pandemic, or, just ugly clothing that I wouldn't want my child wearing to school. So I don't buy much because nothing fits and nothing looks appropriate on me. Nothing looks age appropriate. Nothing looks classy. I can't wear it to church or work. So what's the point? It all comes from a sweatshop. It's not worth more than 10 cents, but they're selling it for $20, $30 a shirt, a t-shirt. Give me a break. That's disgusting. You're making poor people who have to go to Walmart for clothing look like shabby, poor white trash. You're doing it purposely. And then you keep all the nice, classy stuff out of our reach for only rich people. So they gotta literally go to Neiman Marcus to look good when the product is the same price and even they are using sweatshops from China. Okay? Give me a break. I am sick of the rich dominating everything, and only you have to be rich in order to have good food, good quality anything, good clothing, to look good, to have the better jobs. Enough of this. You elites, you call yourself elite, you can burn in hell, and you will. Seriously, you can go to hell, and you can say, the Lord knows I'm saying that to you. God forgive me, but I'm tired of it. You are the problem down here. You rich upper class snobs. You steal everything and overtax people and don't pay taxes yourself. You save the best for yourselves and you give the rest of America the scraps. And that's why there's so many people who can't afford to live or eat or feed their families or have a roof over their head. Because you hoard all the money so you can play God. And you just think so highly of yourself. So, that's not my problem. I have 5 mansions and 3 luxury yachts and my own airplane. And how dare you? How can you live with yourself, you scum? How can you live with yourself, you rich scum? When you know that billions of human beings you're no better than them. And if we take your money and status away, you're going to be in the trenches with the rest of us. And you wouldn't be able to survive a day. You scum. How dare you live like you're owed something and that you didn't, please. You rip off the poor and the middle class so you can live like elites. That is why you're going to go to hell, because Jesus said to the poor, rich, young ruler, if you want to follow me, go sell everything that you have to the poor and come and follow me. And he wouldn't do it. He didn't want to get rid of his wealth and his power. Well, he said also that it's easier for a camel to go to the eye of a needle than a rich man to ever enter the kingdom of heaven. Because you already have your reward now. When you go to heaven, you're going to be living in mansions and streets paved with gold. You're going to have all the wealth of your Father God. You will be royalty. But if you want it all now from the devil, well, then you're his child and you shall have it, but you're going to have that. That's your only reward. You will not go to heaven because you're not living like a Christian and a proper human being. You only live for yourself. It's all about your enjoyment, your comfort, your fun, your luxury. While the rest of the people the majority of society is busting their butt to try to keep afloat, and millions and billions of men, women, and children are starving and dying every day because they can't even buy a piece of bread. They don't even have clothing or shelter or clean water. And you're living as if you're God. You're disgusting. But you can change. You can change. If people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump and even Biden and all these people would actually decide to put their money where their mouth is and decide to be charitable, but they can't, because you know what happens with rich people? The demon of greed. The more they have, the more they want, the more they need. And it doesn't matter how much they have. I know millionaires who would not even give me a $10 bill for gas when I'm broken on the side of the road and couldn't get anywhere. They had the money in their pocket. They had millions of dollars in the bank. And it's, if I have to do it for you, I have to do it for everybody. God helps those who help themselves. I can't help you. I'm sorry. How do you go to sleep at night? How do you live with yourself? And these people are my friend. I thought they were my friend. They know me for 30 years. And they wouldn't even give me $10. $10 for a legitimate, important, and I had money. I just couldn't get to the bank. I work, but I would have given it back. You have 20 million in the bank and you can't give me $10 for gas or food? You're sick. And that is why you will burn in hell. So you enjoy your money. And you don't even enjoy it yourself because you just hoard it. You can't get enough. I don't want to spend it. I don't get rich by spending it or giving it away. Well, then what are you doing with millions and millions of dollars? It's just sitting in a bank and you're going to die before you get to spend it. You're going to go to hell for no reason. And then somebody else is going to get the money that they didn't deserve. It's sick, it's stupid, it's a mental illness, and it's evil, and you need to know that. And I'm done. Because I'm speaking the truth, and a lot of people are not going to want to hear this, especially if they have money. Because they know I'm telling the truth that Jesus would even say, read the Sermon on the Mount. That's why you don't like Jesus. That's why you don't dare go to church. That's why you don't want to give up your money. That's why you don't want to hear this, because you're the elite. And you know I'm speaking the truth. You don't want to hear it, so you don't have to have a guilty conscience. So you just want to enjoy your life. And you can't enjoy your life if everybody's asking to take your money, or if everybody's telling you that it's going to send you to hell, or making you feel guilty like you should. Think about that. But us poor folk, because I literally have like almost nothing. I'm very, very poor. But I got God, so I got all I need. The point is, us poor folk, and I came from a silver spoon, by the way, when I was younger. So I wasn't multimillionaire, but I was very comfortable in life. But when I started following the Lord, this is what happened. But anyway, and some bad, stupid decisions, and some health issues, and just life. But the point is, poor people understand the value of money. And you know what else? And I'm going to end with this because I got to get to church. I've seen more poor people willingly give the shirt off their back, the last piece of food on their plate, the last penny in their wallet to church or to others who were in need, even though they had nothing themselves and no way to replace it. And yet they're still generous and charitable. And yet rich people won't even do that, most of you. Why do poor people take care of each other and middle class, but yet rich people, nothing. Yeah, think about that.